Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavava Girivardhari Gopi Janavapa Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parivrajagacharya, Ashtadhara Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Lord Varahadev Ki Jai, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
This morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, entitled Status Quo, right? Status Quo, the status quo. Chapter 13, the appearance of Lord Varaha. We're on text 16. Maitrevacha Parameshti Tapamadye Tata Sannama Vikshagam Katam Enam Sumaneshya Iti Dadao Diyachiram Matevacha Parameshti Tapamadye Tata Sannama Vikshagam Katam Enam Samunyeshya Iti Dadyao Diyachiram Matevacha Parameshti Tapamadye Tasannama Vikshagam Katam Enam Samunyeshya Iti Dadyao Diyachiram
Maitreya vacha parameshti svapam madhye asannam avekshagam paramenam samunneshya idadhyau dhyāchiram Maitreya vacha parameshti svapam madhye asannam avekshagam Prabhu samunneshya idadhyau dhyāchiram Maitreya vacha parameshti svapam madhye asanam avekshagam pramenam samunneshya idadhyau dhyāchiram Maitreya vacha parameshti svapam madhye asannam avekshagam pramenam samunneshya idadhyau dhyāchiram.
So, Zach, did you go? Did he go? Oh. Okay, we have to rewind the camera, see if he actually went. Okay, we do like Devacha. Oh, she just did. Devacha.
Parameshti svapam madhye asanam avekshagam pramenam samunneshya idadhyau dhyāchiram.
Okay, word by word translation. Maitreya vacha. Shri Maitreya Muni said, Parameshti Brahma, two, also, the palm, the water, madhye, within, tata, thus, sanam, situated, aviksha, seen, gam, the earth, katam, how, inam, this, samunneshya, I shall lift, iti, thus, dadya, gave attention, diya, by intelligence, chiram, for a long time. Okay, so it's translation. Sri Maitreya said, thus seeing the earth merged in the water, Brahma gave his attention for a long time to how it could be lifted. Was it a flat earth or was it a round earth? I'm just joking. We're not going to discuss that. Don't. In this assembly at this point in time. Okay, so I'll just continue reading the verses, and at one point I'll read a purport. Brahma thought, this is the next text, while I have been engaged in the process of creation, the earth has been inundated by a deluge and has gone down into the depths of the ocean. What can we do who are engaged in this matter of creation? It is best to let the Almighty Lord direct us. O sinless Vidura, all of a sudden, while Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril. To get through the... Why? You want me to read? Oh, it should be in here. I mean, it's in the printed BBT book. I mean, if they missed the purports, it's a real bloop. They missed a complete purport. I mean, I guess it's happened in the past, but... O sinless Vidura, all of a sudden, While Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril. The measurement of the creature was not more than the upper portion of a thumb. O descendant of Bharat, while Brahma was observing him, that boar became situated in the sky in a wonderful manifestation as gigantic as a great elephant. Struck with wonder at observing the wonderful boar-like form in the sky, Brahma, with great Brahmins like Marichi, as well as Kumaras and Manu, began to argue in various ways. Is this some extraordinary entity come in the pretense of a boar? It is very wonderful that it has come from my nose. So you can imagine the boar coming out and then manifest a big elephant in the sky. You'd be a little surprised, right? First of all, this boar was seen no bigger than the tip of a thumb, and within a moment he was as large as a stone. My mind is perturbed. Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu? While Brahma was deliberating with his sons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, I'm having a hard time reading this morning, roared tumultuously like a great mountain. The omnipotent Supreme Personality of Godhead enlivened Brahma and other highly elevated Brahmins by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. Can you give us examples, Zach? Yeah, it's a roar. You're shy? Alright, when we do our, what's it called, our drama, you could exhibit that roar. When the great sages and thinkers who are residents of Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka heard the tumultuous voice of Lord Boar, which was the all-auspicious sound of all-merciful Lord, they chanted auspicious chants from the three Vedas. Playing like an elephant, he entered into the water after roaring again and replied to the Vedic prayers by the great devotees. The Lord is the object of the Vedic prayers, and thus he understood that the devotees' prayers were meant for him. Before entering the water to rescue the earth, Lord Boar flew in the sky, slashing his tail, his hard hairs quivering. His very glance was luminous, and he scattered the clouds in the sky with his hooves and his glittering white tusks. He was personally the Supreme Lord Vishnu and was therefore transcendental, yet because he had the body of a hog, he searched after the earth by smell. His tusks were fearful, and he glanced over the devotee Brahmins engaged in offering prayers. Thus he entered the water. Diving into the water like a great mountain, Lord Boar divided the middle of the ocean, and two high waves appeared as the arms of the ocean, which cried loudly as if praying to the Lord, O Lord of all sacrifices, please do not cut me into two. Kindly give me protection. Lord Boar penetrated the water with his hoofs, which were like sharp arrows, and found the limits of the ocean, although it was unlimited. He saw the earth, the resting place for all living beings, lying as it was in the beginning of creation, and he personally lifted it. Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusks and got it out of the water. Thus he appeared very splendid. Then, his anger glowing like the Sudarshan will, he immediately killed the demon Hiranyaksha, although he tried to fight with the Lord. Thereupon Lord Boar killed the demon within the water, just as a lion kills an elephant. The cheeks and tongue of the Lord became smeared with the blood of the demon, just as an elephant becomes reddish from digging in the purple earth. Then the Lord, playing like an elephant, suspended the earth on the edge of his curved white tusk. He assumed a bluish complexion, like that of a tamal tree. Are there still many tamal trees in Vrindavan, or? Okay. And what about in our Krishna Balaram, in the Krishna Balaram in the courtyard? They replanted? Oh, okay. So that tree right there in the courtyards. Oh. Okay. And that's in Vrindavan. Oh. Hmm. Tamal tree. So then the Lord, playing like an elephant, suspended the earth on the edge of his curved white tusk. He assumed a bluish complexion like that of a tamal tree. And thus the sages, headed by Brahma, could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of God and offered respectful obeisances unto the Lord. All the sages uttered with respect, O unconquerable enjoyer of all sacrifices, all glories and all victories unto you. You are moving in your form of the personified Vedas, and in the hair holes of your body the oceans are submerged. For certain reasons to uplift the earth, you have now assumed the form of a boar. O Lord, your form is worshipable by performances of sacrifice, but souls who are simply miscreants are unable to see it. All the Vedic hymns, Gayatri and others, are in the touch of your skin. In your bodily hairs is the kusha grass, in your eyes is the clarified butter, and in your 4 legs are the 4 kinds of fruitive activities. Purport. There is a class of miscreants who are known in the words of Bhagavad Gita as Vedavadi, or so-called strict followers of the Vedas. They do not believe in the incarnation of the Lord, what to speak of the Lord's incarnation as the worshipable hog. They describe worship of the different forms or incarnations of the Lord as anthropomorphism. In the estimation of srimadbhagavatam, these men are miscreants. And in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 15, they are called not only miscreants, but also fools and the lowest of mankind. And it is said that their knowledge has been plundered by illusion due to their atheistic temperament. For such condemned persons, the Lord's incarnation as a gigantic hog is invisible. These strict followers of the Vedas who despise the eternal forms of the Lord may know from Srimad Bhagavatam that such incarnations are personified forms of the Vedas. Lord Boar's skin, his eyes, and his bodily hair holes are all described here as different parts of the Vedas. He is therefore the personified form of the Vedic hymns, and specifically the Gayatri Mantra. Om Ganatavarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshalanmaditamena Tusma Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karidvachalam Pangam Nangate Girim Yakripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Diditaranam Vancha Kapaduvasha Kripa Sindhavivcha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavebyo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the demons were asuras by definition. This one. The demons are asuras by definition. They hate Vishnu or Krishna or God. Any idea of God they hate. And they in many ways they may be very, at least from material estimation, cultured and full of knowledge and so on. And when it really comes down to it, for example, Hiranyakashipu in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the greatest asuras that ever graced the planet, or disgraced the planet, whatever you want to say, that appeared on the planet, he, in certain sections of the 7th canto, he's describing Vedic knowledge and exactly what we believe, exactly what we accept, such as knowledge of the soul, of reincarnation. So he knew Vedic knowledge, at least to some degree. Of course, It was theoretical. He didn't have realized knowledge, or else he wouldn't be trying to. He wouldn't be a sura. He wouldn't be trying to kill his pure devotee son Prahlad. So of course it was theoretical. But still, he had that knowledge. So by definition, although they may have knowledge, theoretical knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and be cultured in some sense, they're by definition they're asuras because they hate Vishnu. So the demon Hiranyaksha, who was the brother, right, of Hiranyakashipu, he was very angered. He was very disturbed. And does anyone remember why? Why? Yeah. One of the main reasons he was angry at Vishnu. You remember why, Zach? You just read the whole Bhagavatam. You know, Tirthamaj, he joked one time. He said, "Oh yeah, the Bhagavatam's so long. You know, you got to read it again." Yeah, because you forget everything, and you got to read it again. He was angry at Hiranyakashipu, or at Vishnu, because Vishnu killed his brother. Because later. Oh, okay. So you were stumped. You were stumped for a good reason. Yeah. Okay, so Hiranyakashipu was angry with Vishnu because he killed Hiranyaksha. Okay, so all right. So, all right, so I'm glad we cleared that up. Yeah. Yeah. So Hiranyakashipu was angry because Vishnu killed his brother Hiranyaksha, his older brother. And of course, Hiranyakashipu, he was thinking, oh well, I could kill. He was thinking he was God. Actually, it says that clearly in the text in the srimadbhagavatam. I'm God. And he was thinking he was all powerful, and he could kill. He must have had the sense he could kill Vishnu because he was fighting with Nrsingadev like that. So similarly, Hiranyaksha, his brother, Hiranyakashipu's brother, also had this foolish mentality, or this demonic mentality, thinking that he was, practically speaking, invincible, and therefore he tried to fight with Varahadev, which Prabhu would say Lord Boar. And of course we just read here that he killed him. We know the outcome, right? Of course it's still, even though we know the outcome, it's still nice to read. So what does this mean what does this mean for ordinary people? It means that if they do not give up their asura mentality, exoric mentality, their demonic mentality, and they try to fight God off by not surrendering to Him, then they're always defeated, right? What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? He said, "Time I am," and Prabhupada would say that. You either connect with Krishna within this life, or you meet Krishna at the time of death, because he comes in the form of death for the atheistic person. So we know that death is unavoidable. Hiranyakashipu himself demonstrated that, in the sense that he tried to become deathless by seeking boons, benedictions from Lord Brahma. You can't be killed this way, you can't be killed that way. So anybody with intelligence, they know that they can't escape death. And yet they fail to actually think about it, how to conquer it, means how to, is there a way in which I could, go back to the spiritual world and live forever and so on. So we can't, you could say, materially overcome death, but we should prepare ourselves and not fight off Krishna. Not fight off Krishna. Throughout our lives we're fighting Krishna. And that's what demons do. They fight Krishna. They compete with Krishna. So historic mentality means people compete with Krishna. They try to beat Krishna. That's competition. It means you're trying to take a position which is not yours. And the person is envious. The person is foolish because the position's already taken. And they're trying to fight the person for the position that they can't have, namely God. So, although people do not do this, you could say, in the way Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha did it, but they do it in a different sense. Namely, throughout their existence, throughout their life, they're fighting God, trying to take His position, trying to be the supreme enjoyer, right? Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yagatabasam, I'm the supreme friend, I'm the supreme enjoyer, I own everything, right? So in this way, people are competing, fighting Krishna on some level. And if they remain like that, then yeah, they can't win. They just like all these demons throughout Bhagavatam, all the suras throughout Bhagavati, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and what to speak of the 10th canto, Krishna killing so many demons, Kamsa, Putana, right, Bakasura, it's a whole list. And they're all thinking themselves very great, equal or better than Vishnu on so many levels. And they're all defeated. So people should give up this fight and not try to compete with Krishna, trying to take his position, and just understand that I am a servant of Krishna, right? I am a servant of Krishna. Jiva Surpoy Krishna Nityadas, eternal servant of Krishna. And then when death comes, instead of us, you could say, losing it on so many levels, means full of fear and anxiety and so on, because we have surrendered to Krishna, because we have accepted we are not Krishna on every level, it will be no problem. It will be no difficulty, practically speaking. And Prabhupada gave the example that there's a cat, and the cat kills the mouse, right? And how does he do that? Catches in the mouth with it, with the claws, plays with it a little bit, and actually says that about Hiranyaksha, I believe that, or maybe it was, I think it was Hiranyaka. Yeah, both of them. He said they played like a mouse, like a cat plays with the mouse before it kills it. Just plays, and then kills. So for that mouse, for that rat, whatever, it's the mouth of the cat is death personified. But for the kitten, it's a whole different experience. The cat picks up the kitten, right, in the mouth somehow or other. They do that, and carries it here and there. So it's a loving embrace. It's a nice thing. Yeah, so it's wonderful. So the Prabhupada gave that example about death. He said that for an atheist, for a materialist, for a asura, for somebody who's been competing with God their whole life, it's just like a cat coming and just grabbing them, killing them. Very dramatic experience. Horrible. Terrible. Fear and anxiety. But for a devotee, for somebody who's given up the competition with Krishna and not trying to fight Krishna, just following Krishna's orders, instructions, and who surrendered to Krishna, then it's just like a kitten being picked up by the cat. Very wonderful experience, spiritual experience. So therefore, an intelligent person, upon reading the Bhagavatam, reading the Bhagavad Gita, hearing all of this, then they pick the option of surrendering to Krishna, not fighting with Krishna. So that's what's being advised, that we do not become miscreants, or whatever it says. There's a few words used here. In the estimation of Bhagavatam, these men are miscreants, fools, lowest of mankind. 7:15. Now that's the Bhagavad Gita. How does that verse start? Namam duskritina mudha pradyante naradama. So, not only should we be careful not to become miscreants and fools, just because by getting in this whole mentality, we are not in line with reality. Yeah, that rhymes, right? Yeah. By being absorbed in this mentality, we are not in line with reality, something like that. I forgot. You could edit it. So yeah, we're not in line with reality. We're fighting with reality. And surely we have to suffer because of that. There has to be pain, there has to be anguish, there has to be suffering on so many levels. And that's practically why so many people are suffering, because it's just a big fight with reality. They're not accepting the facts of reality. They don't know, they're ignorant. So yeah, it's important that we learn what is reality, what are the facts of reality, and try to align ourselves. And practically speaking, that is, you could say, one of the main sources of suffering in this world. People think, okay, I'm the material body. That's not reality, that's illusion. And because I'm the material body, all of my me satisfying my body and my mind and my false ego and all these other things, that's going to make me happy. No, that's illusion. That's not reality. So they're fighting in ignorance. So similarly, all these asuras, all these demons are completely covered by ignorance. And if we take too much of their association, we become affected, infected, effected. Oh, sorry, what is it? We got the header. Oh, okay. Infected, rejected. What does defected mean? Oh, defected. Defective. So, if we associate with it to them, then we get their we get their qualities. So we don't want their qualities. That's why in the Bhagavatam, in the chapter Canto 1, I think chapter 2, text 16, it says how does that verse start? About association with devotees and getting a taste. Shu shu sho shadadanasya vasudeva katarichi. So it's saying by serving those great souls who are completely free from vice, free from bad habits, from vice, great service is done. And one attains a taste for hearing the messages of Krishna. So, in other words, one gets attraction to hearing about Krishna, and then by that attraction, the Krishna consciousness develops. And then Prabhupada mentions the purport, if we serve devotees, pure devotees, then we will get their qualities. So similarly, if we associate, and similarly if we associate with others, we'll get their qualities. So we have to, make up our minds, what qualities do we want? Do we want the materialistic qualities, or do we want the devotee qualities? And the more we want the devotees' qualities, the more we should associate with devotees. Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, we have to be careful not to associate with the miscreants, and therefore Prabhupada would say, because preaching means practically, on some levels we don't associate with them, right? We give association, right? But still, it could wear on us, right? So much dealing with people and their material problems and whatever, just their mentalities. It wears on everybody, practically speaking. So therefore, we have the morning program, and to recharge, and so many other things we do to recharge on a regular basis. Just like last night, we went to the kirtan. We went to a kirtan, most of us here, and very nice kirtan, Akadashi kirtan. Nice day to chant Hare Krishna. And we were driving back in the car, and we were trying to Hare Krishna. Welcome. Good morning. Hare Krishna, Bobby. Good morning. Top of the morning, they say sometimes, certain places of the world. Where do they say that? England? Ireland? Top of the morning. In Australia, they say what? Good day? Good day, mate? Yeah. Different things. Yeah, bottom of the morning goes sour. So we were at the kirtan, and we were trying to get home in the car, trying to get directions from the cell phone, and Google Maps, and it was raining, and so dark. So, anyways, Margie said into the phone, come on, something like that, speed up, because, something slow sometimes, whatever. So then all of a sudden a song came on, some rock and roll song, Yeah, what is this garbage? Yeah, so the rock music came on, and then he said, "What is this garbage?" And then the phone responded, Siri or whatever, the guy responded, "Oh, the nearest waste, management disposal." So yeah, we associate with that type of sound. And Mars made the point. Just imagine you had that sound in your mind all the time, and it didn't sound good. I mean, it's just horrible. Yeah, heavy punk screaming, mad about something probably. So if we fill ourselves fill our minds with that type of sound, with those types of sounds, then we're associating with those people, and we get their mood, we get their mentality, we think about the things that what they're singing about. So it's actually quite it has quite an effect on our consciousness. Some devotees they struggle with that. They struggle with that. What do you say? Addiction or attachment to mundane music. Somehow or other, I was quite free from that. I joined the temple, and I remember, I don't know, there was people were listening more CDs back then. Start sounding like an older person now, right? CDs, but so I had a whole bunch of CDs in my Volkswagen van, only tapes, okay. And it was a bunch of whatever, this musician, that musician, so many musicians, but they're not singing about Krishna, they're singing about everything else, this world and whatever. We don't have to get into the names of who they were, but so I was about to join the temple, and I was getting rid of my stuff. 18 years old, getting rid of my stuff, and then I remember I brought some devotees out on book distribution, Madhavendra Puri, Giraj Gopal, and I remember my box of CDs were back there, and then they got in the car, and I told Madhavendra Puri, I said, I know you sold a box of CDs, I'm getting rid of them, don't. I tried to sell them here at some They gave me like pennies practically to sell them. But so somehow, yeah, and then since then, like I've felt no attraction whatsoever to that music. Just kirtan replaced it. But that music, it has so much in it, actually, that is distracting. Nothing about Krishna, practically speaking. Of course, sometimes devotees, they try to hear a song and relate it to Krishna. Yeah, you take the lyrics and so whatever it is, music, this, that, there's so many things in this world that actually are designed by people who aren't devotees. And if they're not devotees, that means they never think of Krishna practically. And they're not really interested, at least at the moment. And by associating with those people and those places or whatever it may be, we get off track. So we want to be careful about that. So the idea is that instead of associating with so many other things that distract us from Krishna, we want to associate with things and people that attract us to Krishna. It kind of rhymes too, right? Distracting, attracting. And therefore, devotee association is always given the utmost importance, but because by associating with them, we'll become more and more attracted to Krishna. And by associating with others, we become more and more not attracted to Krishna, attracted to other things. So yeah, it is quite inconceivable. It is quite amazing, such a thing that there's Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma, there's a little boar that comes out of his nostril, right, and then it expands into this big elephant, and it just becomes humongous, and then the Earth planet falls into the Garbhodaka ocean, and then Lord Boar comes, who's Krishna, right, comes and he picks it up with his snout and just raises it up, and he has this big fight with the demon Hiranyaksha, and then he kills him. And it's how does he kill him? Vidya Prabhu, he says he hits him, slap in the back of the ear or something, with his hoof hits him in his back of the ear, and then he dies, and then all the Brahmins are there, glorifying Lord Varahadev. So he shakes off, right? Yeah, he shakes off his bristles, and then all the Brahmins are, getting all the water from the... So it's quite a scene. Can make them... And people who, they're so-called followers of the Vedas, means they don't really accept this. They don't accept it as true. They think it's anthropomorphism, which is it's like when a person attributes human qualities to like an animal, like an animal could talk or whatever. And these people are described miscreants, fools, lowest of mankind, like that. So within the religious or spiritual circles, people who are unbelievers or faithless, sometimes there's some heavy language used in relation to them, whether fools or miscreants, or like the Christians, what do they call people? Heathens, or the Muslims say infidels. Rascals, probably said rascals. And Prabhupada would say, I'm not saying this, Krishna is saying this. He says that in the 7:15, Krishna says, those who don't surrender to me, and he gives them mudha, and lowest of mankind, all these things. So in that language is there because the idea is that, again, they're not aligning themselves with reality. They're more or less insane. People who are not aligning themselves with reality. So the point is, it may be difficult to accept this or comprehend this or to have faith in this, But as I brought up some time ago in a class, one Prabhupada disciple, he had a problem accepting these far out type of things, like, oh, there's a demigod on some higher planet like Brahman. He has 4 heads, and he's like on a swan carrier. That's like his airplane. And there's so many other different things that are quite amazing. So he was having a hard time with this, and he went to Prabhupada and he asked him. He said, Srila Prabhupada, I really like Krishna consciousness, but I'm having such a difficult time accepting these things. It's too much for me. And then Srila Prabhupada asked him a question. He said, do you like chanting Hare Krishna? And then the disciple said, yes, I love chanting Hare Krishna. And then Prabhupada said, okay, fine, just chant Hare Krishna, continue chanting, and put all that on the back burner. Means, and then over time it will become more clear. So that's what he did. So the things that are difficult to accept in Krishna consciousness, we shouldn't reject them. But we should just engage in the process, which hopefully makes sense to us, if we're fortunate. Engage in the process of chanting and so on, and then later these things will become more clear. And also we shouldn't be so arrogant to think that, oh, well, automatically this is myth. And I know it, and I'm a very intelligent person, and I know. Again, I brought this up some time ago, but Prabhupada, some boy in the audience, he might have been a disciple or friend or something. He said, "Oh, Prabhupada, this is so difficult to understand." I think he was bringing up this point of like, there's these eagles who pick up elephants and fly in between planets and drop them, or whatever, these types of things. Yeah. Kazakhstan.
There are golden eagles that will stand around 12, 13 feet, and they pick up goats and drop them. Pick them up, drop them, and then put them in. That's the fact.
So then Prabhupada said to this person, he said, it's kind of strong, but whatever. He said, what do you know? He said, you just came out of your mother's womb. So in other words, he's saying, what do you know? I mean, what is your knowledge like? You're a child, spiritual child. What do you really know? So yeah, we should think of it ourselves, not like, oh, well, I know, and I'm going to apply my intelligence, and if it doesn't make sense to me, then I reject it automatically. But the point is, over time, it becomes more clear. So that's the idea. So yes, it's the appearance day of Lord Varaha. So we could glorify and think about the pastime and be uplifted. Just as he uplifted the earth, we become uplifted by thinking about this. And also, Lord Chaitanya, he manifested as Lord Varaha. I guess we could save that for another day. But does anyone have any questions or comments?
You religious people are always ladling out the guilt on everybody.
I'm not trying to make people feel guilty.
No, well, I'm playing devil's advocate, my natural role. You say that, we're demons and you're envious, and you're competing with God. And as a sidelight, you mentioned that verse, where Krishna says, "You're the lowest of mankind." And you can hear on the tape, the audience gets kind of agitated. And Prabhupada says, don't sue me. He said, bring libel suit against Bhagavad Gita. I'm just repeating what Krishna said. But anyway, I'm not competing with God. It's why this guilt shifting on me. I'm just living my life, trying to go along. If God was there, why doesn't he just show up and tell me all about it? Show me that he's God. I'm not competing with him. I'm just trying to exist and squeeze out a little happiness. And you're coming along calling me a demon give me a break. God's there. Show up. I'm not going to hit me with a lightning bolt.
Met some guy the other day on a side note. He was like a security guard from, I don't know, I think Ethiopia or something over here. Anyway, FedEx. And the guy said he got hit by lightning like twice before. Anyways, whatever. I was a little surprised. He was a nice guy. We gave him a book, actually. He's a friendly guy. Maybe that lightning humbled him out, huh? Yeah. So yeah, the idea is not to discourage people, but it's to encourage people. Discourage, encourage. It's not to discourage people, but to encourage people in the sense that it's like, hey, it doesn't seem, you don't seem to be as happy as you could be, and maybe you should try something different. And maybe you should think about if you're like in line with reality and if you're competing with Krishna. So that's not like just to make people feel guilty. It's not to make people feel guilty at all, but just to encourage them to give up their bizarre ways. So I remember one person asked me, they said, it says that people are competing with Krishna and they want to be Krishna, but if you go up to people in general and say, hey, you want to be God? They're like, no, I don't want to be God. Like, what are you talking about? Or you go up to whoever it may be, religious people, not religious people. So people won't out and out say that usually. Some people do, but most people wouldn't. Maybe they're embarrassed to. So this person asks, how is it then that the philosophy of Krishna consciousness says that so many people are trying to more or less take that role? And then I said, well, if you by definition, if you look at the definition that Krishna gives of himself, Bhoktaram Yogatapasam, the supreme enjoyer, I mean, people are trying to, be in that role. And also the owner, right, owning things as much as possible, right? People are trying to be in that more or less. And also the supreme friend, this idea of friend. I'm the friend, I'm the well-wisher of everybody, and right? Which is Krishna. Just like the philanthropic work and all these other, it could manifest in that, hey, I'm the friend of every, look at me, like, I'm the savior here type of thing. So in that way it manifests. My spiritual master, it was kind of a sweet thing, he said one time, he says many sweet things, but he was given an example of himself. He said that he was chanting japa, sitting by the ocean. He was chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then he just started noticing everyone around him, and he started feeling the suffering of everybody. So he's looking at the surfers, and he was feeling their suffering, and he was looking at whatever, the birds, they go really high, and then they, drop down in the ocean, and they're trying to get their food. He was feeling their suffering, and the different birds and people. He was just somehow being overwhelmed with all of this suffering. And then a ladybug landed on him, And then he was saying that, growing up, he thought, ladybugs was kind of whatever, cute or spiritual, whatever. But then he started feeling the ladybug suffering, and it was just like, so it was overwhelming. And then he thought, what can I do to help these people? How can I really help them? And then he said that he had a thought that, in many ways I can help them, but I can introduce them to their supreme friend, Krishna. By being introduced to Krishna, then Krishna will help them and all their problems will be solved. So that's, anyways, that was just... Does anyone have any other questions or comments about what was said, or Varahadev? Drita Prabhu, you want to add anything about Varahadev? Drita Prabhu, you want to add anything about Varahadev?
Varahadev, you mentioned that there are two stories mixed up in the Bhagavatam.
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, later on, we have a detailed description of the battle between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev. And that's describing how the earth had fallen down into the bottom of the Garbhodarika ocean. It was all that mud, and if we needed a form of a boar so you could root it out. And it describes how he dove into the ocean, and Hiranyaksha had met Varuna. Did you mention that whole story?
Oh.
So this is a whole other story. And he was looking for a fight.
Yeah.
A demon, they just want to fight. So Varuna was older at that time, and he challenged him to a fight. He says, "I'm too old." So he said, so he said, "Well, you will meet someone who will give you a good fight." So then we find that the Lord appears, and he dives down into the ocean, splits the ocean, dives deep in, and goes all the way down and starts pulling up the earth, very gently and carefully. And Hiranyaksha is insulting him the whole time, "Oh, an amphibious beast, stand and fight," So he doesn't say anything till he puts the ocean carefully on the surface and imparts the power to float.
Mm.
And then they start this battle between Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And all the demigods are carefully watching, And he's kind of playing with them. I think they start with clubs.
Mm.
And then Varaha's, I think a club is knocked out of his hands. And demigods freak out. He says, "Oh, no, I just have a club." But Hiranyaksha has enough Kshatriya spirit to discard his club. You're not supposed to fight if you have a weapon and the other doesn't have a weapon. So then they're fighting hand to hand, hoof to hoof, hoof to hand. And it goes on for a while. And then they start, the standard thing is that when they start to lose, they disappear and they start doing all of these magic shows, like the big mountains and feces coming down and all kinds of pus and blood. But it doesn't phase Varaha, so Hiranyakashipu has to come back and face him, man to man, or demon to hog. And then after there's some battle, and then the demigods are praying, the auspicious time is almost over. Please dispatch him. I remember that word. And that's when he hits him finally indifferently with his hoof behind the ear. It's like a karate blow. Yeah. And he starts spitting blood and falls down. And then his flowers come down from the sky and all the drums are played. It's very dramatic. Now, just one little editing note because it's interesting. Oh my God. Okay, this will just take 30 seconds. At a certain point in the third canto, Prabhupada started relying on these Gita Press edition translations. And you'll see a little difference in the language. And this second description that I mentioned is part of it. And this thing, please dispatch him, you won't find that anywhere else in the Bhagavatam. So it's an interesting little section of the Bhagavatam where he was just using these translations almost exclusively. Hare Krishna.
Lord Vrahadev ki jai.